Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers: will Drew's criminal alliance with Sidwell fail? General Hospital spoilers warn that Drew Quartermain's criminal alliance could fail. This Sidwell alliance has the potential to go horribly wrong, so Drew may pay the price sooner or later. Drew supports Sidwell's plan to relocate the Esplanade to Pier 55, which could force Sonny Corinthos off his home turf. Drew clearly has spiteful intentions for pursuing Sonny and Jason Morgan, which could lead to disaster. It's never a good idea to confront the Sonny Corinthos, therefore Sonny's revenge is undoubtedly one way to Drew's demise. However, it is also a mistake for Drew to associate himself with a dangerous criminal like Sidwell. Drew is aware that Sidwell has held Lucky Spencer captive, but he is too focused on pursuing Sonny and Jason to care. Drew may face repercussions for a variety of reasons. For instance, just because Sidwell has gotten away with his misdeeds in the past does not guarantee that he would do so again. Drew's link to Sidwell could jeopardize his congressional career, depending on how things go. Now that Sidwell is utilizing Drew, it may only be a matter of time until this alliance grows and spirals out of control. Sidwell could eventually endanger Scout Quartermain or Willow Corinthos, as well as her own children. It's easy to envision Sidwell utilizing Drew's favorite people to keep him in line if he doesn't cooperate. Whatever the case, it's a horrible idea for Drew to pursue vengeance on Sonny and Jason while aligning himself with a criminal who could cause real harm. Drew's connection to Sidwell could endanger the people he loves about, as well as jeopardize his job if Sidwell's illicit deeds become known later on. Drew's world is about to break apart in some fashion, according to our forecasts, so stay tuned for updates on the devastating news. According to General Hospital previews, Drew may come to regret getting caught up in Sidwell's wicked web. ASAP Cyrus cleanup: Jonathan Jackson returns as Lucky Sasha's surprise confession. Cyrus Renault will be cleaned up as soon as possible, and Jonathan Jackson will reprise his role as Lucky Spencer. Sasha Gilmore Corbin will also make a stunning confession, so there will be plenty of action on the canvas. First, let's talk about Anna Devane and Dante Falconeri, who will discuss all of the latest Cyrus news. Dante will make a strong statement about Cyrus going down since he believes there is nowhere for the evil guy to hide. Of course, it's a little late to hide now that Jocelyn Jacks has murdered Cyrus on Austin Gatlin Holt's old land. Jack Brennan will quickly go into fix-it mode, so he appears to be preparing to persuade Jocelyn that they should clean up the Cyrus mess without informing the police. Lucky's condition at GH will remain serious owing to the digitalis shot he received. Following Guy Wilson's most recent temporary spell, Jonathan Jackson will return to the character of Lucky, so it will be great to see the genuine Lucky back on TV. Isaiah Gannon will provide some painful updates for Lucky's loved ones on the GH episode. Lucky's life will remain in risk while Portia Robinson zaps his heart and tries to keep him alive. Aiden Weber has only recently got the opportunity to spend time with Lucky and renew their father-son relationship. Lucky's terrifying predicament will make Aiden fearful that he will lose his father for good, so Laura Collins and Elizabeth Baldwin will provide solace. Lulu Spencer, on the other hand, will relive every minute of Cyrus' mission because Sam McCall was essentially punished for donating his organ to her. When it comes to Lucky, Lulu will hope for the best and prepare for the worst, but according to General Hospital spoilers, he will survive. On another note, Sasha will make an unexpected revelation in the upcoming GH episode. Now that Jason has consented to deepen their deceit, it's probable that the bogus confession will be used to back up the fake baby daddy tale. However, it is feasible that Sasha will reveal the truth, such as the fact that Michael Corinthos fathered her unborn child. If that's the case, we can envision Maxie Jones pledging to keep the paternity a secret. Drew Quartermain will face off against Jason Morgan at his home. Despite Jason's offer of a truce, Drew may simply refuse to meet him halfway. At home, Harrison Chase will vent out his rage at Brooke Lynn Quartermain's secret. Brooke Lynn has just acknowledged to having a baby previously, so she'll explain what happened and confirm that she gave birth as a teenager. Chase won't be angry with Brooke Lynn, but he will be upset with the circumstances. Chase will find it difficult to accept that Brooke Lynn has been harboring the secret for so long now. Chase will also battle with Brooke Lynn's decision to give up her lone shot as a biological kid because he is unable to provide one for her right now. Chase will undoubtedly struggle to process Brooke Lynn's adoption surprise. According to General Hospital spoilers, Chase and Brooke Lynn's marriage will face additional challenges as the storyline progresses, so stay tuned for more predictions about their future. The connection between Carly and Brennan on General Hospital is much older than we think. Carly and Brennan eventually kissed at the end of January, fulfilling many General Hospital fans' wishes. When Carly entered Jack's room in Germany, she discovered him laying on the floor, with Valentine standing over his body. After smashing a vase over Valentine's head, Carly cared for Jack. Later, he appeared at Carly's hotel room and thanked her for saving his life by pulling him into a kiss. Not long after, it was announced that Brennan's character had been recast. Though viewers had grown to like the connection between the characters, Charles Measure opted to depart the role, and Chris McKenna, a One Life to Live and The Young and the Restless alum, immediately took his place. But, guess what? McKenna and Wright have already crossed paths during the daytime, as evidenced by a flashback photo from 1993. At the time, he was Joey on One Life to Live, while Wright was Ally on the sister series Loving. Eden McCoy, the actress who plays Wright's on-screen daughter, had a strong reaction to the photo, saying, "Oh my God." McKenna responded, "Forgot to show you the other day." Wright rushed in and said, "HAAA. I thought you'd enjoy that." Eden. General Hospital spoilers, Austin Gatlin Holt's killer is revealed to be Jack Brennan. According to General Hospital spoilers, Austin Gatlin Holt's killer may have just been revealed, Jack Brennan. There are strong indications that Brennan was responsible for Austin's death in November 2023. Up until now, the show has kept the truth behind Austin's death a mystery. There were rumors that Cyrus Renaud was targeting Austin, but perhaps GH was trying to throw supporters off track. Austin intended to reveal his boss' identity and provide evidence in exchange for immunity, but he was slain before he could do so. Because Austin had been forced to do Cyrus' dirty work, many viewers assumed Cyrus silenced him. However, this is a really straightforward answer. If that's what truly happened, why hasn't the program revealed it sooner? Cyrus might be a red herring if the GH writers want to reveal Brennan as Austin's murderer instead. Brennan was shown Cyrus' retreat by Colette Gerard, but what if he had already visited Austin's residence in secret? When Austin was shot, an unknown individual in dress shoes was seen at the crime site. Brennan's dramatic cabin arrival in the February 20th episode seemed remarkably similar. Jocelyn Jacks contacted Brennan for assistance, and he arrived shortly after, seeing Cyrus' body on the floor. We can't overlook the fact that Brennan was wearing dress shoes, and the show focused on them in the same way that Austin's corpse was stretched out. Brennan may have gone to tremendous efforts to eliminate Austin and guarantee that he carried certain secrets to his death. Brennan has always been a nice guy, but he has also shown that he has a darker side. We must not forget that Brennan was more of a villain when he initially arrived in Port Charles, nearly kidnapping Carly Spencer before ending up in prison. In other words, Brennan is deadly when he wants to be, and he has been juggling many murky goals since the beginning. That remains true to present day, since Brennan has been coaching Jocelyn along the way and appears to want to recruit her for the WSB. Brennan has a few tricks up his sleeve, as well as undiscovered stories that have yet to be disclosed. According to our projections, one of those stories could entail Austin's death, assuming Brennan was to blame. Will the show reveal Brennan as Austin's murderer soon enough? According to General Hospital spoilers, Brennan will continue to live on the edge, so keep an eye out for any startling developments. The environment in Port Charles was tense, with an undercurrent of terror spreading throughout the city as the horrific truth about Cyrus Renaud became known. Whispers became murmurs, which evolved into anxious discussions behind closed doors. The realization that he was to blame for the deaths of Sam McCall and Dex Heller was only the beginning of his troubles. His name was now linked to a series of mysterious tragedies that had left Port Charles reeling. But Cyrus was not a fool. He could feel the walls closing in, hear the voices of law enforcement tightening their grip, and feel the air shift as his foes circled like vultures. It was just a matter of time until they came after him, and he had no intention of going back to prison. He had spent far too long manipulating, spinning his web of control, and always remaining one step ahead. If he was going down, he was not alone. The city had turned against him. And he'd make them pay. A desperate plan takes shape. Cyrus had never been one to act on impulse. His actions were always premeditated, his strategy based on patience. But this time, desperation nagged at him. He needed to make a statement. A daring one. Something to remind Port Charles that he wasn't just another criminal to be rid of. He needed leverage. The inhabitants of this city wanted him put up for good, and he knew there was only one way to change the tide in his favor: fear. A significant event was just around the corner, bringing together Port Charles's most notable figures in one location. A charity gala is scheduled to take place at the Metro Court, promising an evening of elegance, philanthropy, and, unknowing to them, pandemonium. The guest list was nearly a who's who of Port Charles: Elizabeth Baldwin, Jocelyn Jacks, Lucas Jones, Danny Morgan, Lucky Spencer, Lulu Spencer, and many more. It was a fantastic opportunity. Cyrus had one final move to make, and he'd do it with lethal precision. The night of the charity gala, the Metro Court was decked with sparkling chandeliers, silk-draped tables, and a sea of well-dressed visitors mingling in laughing and discussion. Waiters floated between groups with trays of champagne, and the atmosphere was brimming with joy and almost cruel irony considering what was about to happen. Elizabeth Baldwin stood near the bar, conversing with Jocelyn Jacks, as Lucas Jones entertained a small group of people at his table. Danny Morgan, looking older and more confident than the boy most recalled, chuckled at Lucky Spencer's joke, while Lulu Spencer, despite her extended absence, was the light of the party, catching up with old friends. None of them had any idea Cyrus Renaud was about to disrupt the party. The doors blasted open. Gasps filled the room as Cyrus, surrounded by armed men, sent a shock of panic through the audience. "Ladies and gentlemen," Cyrus shouted out, his voice unnaturally calm, "I hope I'm not interrupting anything." The anxiety in the air was palpable. His soldiers quickly took charge, closing off the entrances and ensuring that no one left. And then, to emphasize the point, Cyrus lifted his palm, showing a small, menacing device. A detonator. "I'm afraid tonight's festivities are going to take a different turn," he added softly. "You know, I'm not in the mood for charity tonight. But I believe in making a difference." The terror on Elizabeth's face was obvious. Jocelyn's fingers closed into fists. The entire room remained paralyzed in shock. But that was precisely what Cyrus desired. Control. Fear. Power. A city held hostage. The Metro Court had officially become the site of Port Charles's most dangerous hostage incident. The news of the standoff circulated swiftly, reaching the PCPD within minutes. Commissioner Anna Devane's phone rang with an urgent message, and within seconds, she was giving directives and gathering a response team. "Lock down the perimeter," she said, already moving at full pace. "No one goes in, no one comes out unless I say so." Cyrus' demands were clear: safe passage out of the country in exchange for the hostage's life. Anna knew better than to expect him to uphold his word. She'd dealt with men like Cyrus before, and his promises were as empty as his conscience. He had every intention of fleeing, but he would not hesitate to kill if he felt surrounded. Negotiating with him was a game of strategy. The stakes were too high to fail. Inside the Metro Court, Cyrus was enjoying the mayhem he had caused. He moved closer. Elizabeth grabbed her wrist and bringing her close. "You're a favorite in this town," he remarked, his grasp tightening. Elizabeth refused to cower. "I wonder how much they'd be willing to sacrifice to keep you alive." "Let them go," she demanded, her eyes filled with wrath. "If you have any humanity left in you," Cyrus laughed. "Oh, Elizabeth. That's wonderful." Across the room, Jocelyn was already planning a strategy. She was Sonny Corinthos' daughter, after all. She had been reared in a dangerous environment, and if she had learned anything, it was that you sometimes had to battle your way out. But before she could react, a familiar voice broke through the tension. "Jason Morgan has arrived." It made no difference whether he had attended the event or learned about it through other means. What mattered was that he was here, and that changed everything. Cyrus' expression soured when he saw Jason at the edge of the room. "Oh, well. The hero has arrived, Cyrus scoffed. Let me guess. Are you here to save the day? Jason did not respond. His mind was already busy, examining every possible angle and opportunity. He noticed the detonator in Cyrus' palm. He noticed the armed guys stationed near the exits. He noticed fear in the hostage's eyes. And he saw something Cyrus didn't, his own overconfidence. Cyrus assumed he had perfect control, but Jason knew otherwise. Time was running out. If the cops moved too quickly, Cyrus might carry out his threats. But if Jason played his cards right, he could foil Cyrus' plot before anyone was hurt. He only needed a diversion. In the final standoff, Jason made his move. He quickly drew a concealed weapon and killed one of Cyrus' men before the rest could respond. Chaos erupted. Jocelyn used the chance to slam a tray into another gunman's face, while Lucas tackled the third. As the struggle broke out, the hostages scattered, hiding for safety. Cyrus, recognizing he was losing control, took one final desperate move, seizing Elizabeth and holding the gun to her head. "Stay back," he exclaimed. Jason did not stop. He was relaxed. Steady. Focused. One shot. That is all it took. Cyrus tumbled, his grip on Elizabeth lessening as he landed. The detonator slid from his grasp, unharmed. The situation was over. Aftermath: the PCPD swept in, securing the scene and apprehending all of Cyrus's men. Anna approached Jason, her face a mix of relief and frustration. "You could have gotten yourself killed," she told me. Jason gave a little shrug. "But I didn't." Elizabeth, terrified but undamaged, looked at Jason gratefully. "Thank you," she muttered. Jocelyn, gathering her breath, gazed at Cyrus, who was unconscious and being carried onto a stretcher. "This time," she mumbled, "let's make sure he never gets out." Cyrus Renault was defeated. But in Port Charles, no enemy ever stayed down for good. Sasha Gilmore Corbin's biggest secret was getting heavier by the day. She had worked hard to keep the false impression that Jason Morgan was the father of her unborn child, a well-planned falsehood intended to protect the real father, Michael Corinthos. It wasn't just about keeping her own life together, it was about protecting Michael from a chain reaction of events that could ruin everything he had created. His custody fight. His meticulously maintained life. His family's expectations. If the truth was revealed, the consequences would be limitless. Sasha was determined to keep this hidden. But at Port Charles, the truth was never kept secret for long. The eavesdropper began innocently enough. Sasha had planned to meet Jason at his usual hangout, an unassuming cafe on the outskirts of town where few people noticed whispered discussions in dark corners. "I can't thank you enough for this," she whispered, swirling the tea in front of her, while not taking a single sip. "You know I wouldn't have asked unless it was absolutely necessary," Jason said calmly, nodding slightly. "I understand." She exhaled and pressed her fingers to her temples. "I never imagined it would be this hard." Jason's gaze remained unwavering. "You are protecting him." "And the baby?" Sasha nodded, her throat constricting. "Yeah. But I wish no one else had to be injured as a result." Unbeknownst to either of them, a pair of acute ears had picked up every word. Nina Reeves was leaving the diner when she heard Sasha's voice. Something about the tone, the tense energy behind it, caused her to pause. And when she heard Michael's name, she realized she couldn't just leave. She carefully positioned herself near the entryway, somewhat obscured by a barrier. She did not want to trust what she was hearing. Was Jason not the father? Michael was? A gradual, sinking realization struck her. Sasha had lied to everyone. And now Nina had the truth in her hands. A dangerous secret. The news weighed on Nina as she left the diner, her mind racing in a dozen directions. What was she expected to do with it? Keeping it to herself would mean allowing Sasha's lie to continue unabated, leaving Michael unaware that he had another kid on the way. But telling the truth would set everything on fire. It wasn't only Sasha and Michael, it was also Willow Corinthos. Nina had spent so much time striving for a relationship with Willow, facing their animosity and hurt, only to be cast aside repeatedly. But this might change everything. If Willow discovered Michael had fathered Sasha's child while they were still together, the consequences would be catastrophic. Will she be the one to inform her? Or will she use this information to her advantage? After all, Sasha was not the only one with skeletons. The leverage game. Sasha quickly saw that something was awry. She could feel it in the way Nina looked at her the next time they met at the Metro Court, the subtle stiffness in her stance, and the way her eyes lingered just a bit longer. Nina suddenly spoke. "How long were you going to keep this up?" Sasha tensed. "What are you keeping up with?" Nina's lips twisted into a smile smirk. "You understand exactly what I am talking about. Michael. The baby. The lie you and Jason have been feeding everyone." Sasha's carefully kept demeanor broke for a single second. However, she swiftly recovered and shook her head. "I don't know what you think you heard, but, oh, cut the act," Nina interrupted, coming closer and lowering her voice so no one else could overhear. "I was there, Sasha. I overheard everything. You confessed it yourself, Michael is the father." Sasha was overcome with panic. "Look," she said cautiously, her voice barely above a whisper. "You do not comprehend. I'm not doing this to damage anyone, I'm trying to protect Michael. And the baby." Nina gave out a brief, unimpressed laugh. Sasha clenched her jaw. "How noble of you. You can't tell Willow." "So why not?" Nina crossed her arms. "Doesn't she deserve to know? Do you just believe in honesty when it helps you?" Sasha paused. She was aware Nina had every incentive to expose her. But she was also aware of something Nina probably did not want to be reminded of. "Do you really want to talk about honesty?" Sasha tilted her head slightly, her eyes sharp. "Because if we're airing dirty laundry, I don't think Willow would appreciate knowing that you slept with Drew Quartermain while she was still with Michael." Nina's demeanor changed almost imperceptibly, but Sasha noticed it. A burst of uncertainty. A moment of hesitation. Sasha pressed on. "If you tell Willow about Michael's baby, I will make sure she knows about you and Drew. Let's see how forgiving she is then." Neither woman spoke for quite some time. Nina exhaled, making a low, bitter sound. "Well," she mumbled, "aren't we full of surprises?" The breaking point days passed, and neither woman made any moves. Sasha was constantly worried that Nina would break her promise and reveal everything. Nina, on the other hand, was dealing with her own predicament. She disliked being backed into a corner, but she knew Sasha wasn't lying. Their fragile understanding could only last for so long until something, or someone, pushed them over the edge. The impetus came from an unexpected source. Drew Quartermain. It wasn't long before Drew, oblivious of the brewing storm beneath the surface, unintentionally placed both women in an impossible predicament. A casual comment. A half-truth told in the wrong company. A careless slide. Everything fell apart all at once. Willow found out. About Michael. About Sasha. About Drew. The consequences were nothing short of explosive. Sasha and Nina's shaky relationship? Shattered. Is Michael and Willow's relationship already fragile? In ruins. And the balance of power in Port Charles shifted yet again. Because secrets never remained buried in this town. And now everyone must face the consequences. Spoilers, is Dr. Portia Robinson Port Charles's next major villain? According to General Hospital spoilers, Dr. Portia Robinson's storyline may take a totally different turn than we are used to. Portia has come off as indifferent and unfeeling at times in the hospital, particularly when delivering terrible news to patients and their families. Portia is currently the co-chief of staff, and as an administrator, her treatment of Brad Cooper may be perceived as harsh. Stella Henry recently noticed this and warned Portia about it. Portia isn't always the most honest person, and she's fooled others previously, such as manipulating Heather Weber's laboratory results. Portia is a strong prospect to become a big villainess in Port Charles, and this might happen. Portia Robinson's first move toward becoming a villainess would be to lie to Curtis Ashford. Portia might lie about a variety of topics, and we all know Curtis' feelings regarding honesty. Perhaps she feels that telling Curtis would be more harmful than beneficial, so she keeps it a secret from him. However, as we all know, secrets usually find their way out. Curtis finds out and ends his marriage. He also has sex with his ex-wife, Jordan Ashford. Meanwhile, Portia and Curtis' daughter, Trina Robinson, is seriously hurt, which fuels Portia's rage. Too much pain turns Portia Robinson evil after Trina is severely injured, she loses the love of her life, and she discovers Curtis slept with Jordan. Portia will respond maliciously, and she will, of course, pursue Jordan. This is the beginning of her terrible behavior. She will scheme against Jordan and Curtis, undermining the Esplanade and thwarting their intentions. Portia will not stop there, she may set fire to the Savoy, ruining Curtis' magnificent nightclub. She may also do everything to ruin Jordan's life by putting Jen Sidwell in her path. There is no telling what Portia will go through now. Portia Robinson is a force to be reckoned with as co-chief of staff at General Hospital. Portia will use her position to her advantage. She will mistreat her employees and conflict with Dr. Terry Randolph to achieve her goals. With her power, there is no knowing what she can accomplish at General Hospital. There is no stopping her now that villainous Portia has appeared, and she is not going away anytime soon. What do you think? General Hospital finally kills Cyrus. Here's who done it and how. Look, if there's one thing we know about serial killer storylines on soap operas, it's that the deaths will pile up. Finally, the killer is usually the last to die. So it's no surprise that Cyrus' days at General Hospital were numbered. When it became evident that he had been on a killing rampage that included Sam, Dex, and almost Michael, it was no longer a question of whether Cyrus would die, but when. We will admit, however, that we were concerned that before he went out, he might drag Liz down with him. Fortunately, that wasn't the case, and while they lived, Cyrus died on General Hospital's Thursday, February 20th episode. We felt Sonny or Jason would be the most likely suspects to take him out, especially because everyone has been so concerned on preventing Sam's ex-partner from killing Cyrus before he is brought to jail. But, in the end, it appears that Cyrus's worst mistake was killing Dex. Since then, Joss has been determined to make her Bo's killer pay, initiating her own investigation into Cyrus, with Brennan supporting her and sending her information for reasons we don't fully understand. She followed the clues, discovered Cyrus' hideout, and, in today's episode, retrieved Dex's stolen medical bracelet, which the crazed preacher appeared to be holding as a prize. That gave Joss all the confirmation she needed, but happily, she did not murder Cyrus in cold blood. When Cyrus returned to the hideout after his fight with Elizabeth and Lucky, he discovered Joss photographing the evidence and attacked her with an axe. In a poetic turn, Joss fatally shot him with Dex's gun. That indicates that, happily, General Hospital did not transform Joss into a murderer, but rather someone who had to kill Cyrus in self-defense. Having said that, while taking a life must shake her, we don't see Carly's daughter lose any sleep over the fact that Cyrus' life was taken. Jocelyn called Jack for assistance following the incident, and he came running. It's a little late for Cyrus, but Brennan can rescue Joss out of the mess and save her from being charged with murder. Regardless of how you slice it, we believe Cyrus is now learning the hard way that the Lord does not tolerate murdering sociopaths who kill in God's name. General Hospital spoilers, is Jason forced to tell Carly the truth about his arrangement with Sasha? General Hospital spoilers show that Jason Morgan is extremely excellent at keeping secrets, except when it comes to Carly Spencer. Don't get me wrong, Jason won't tell Carly the truth if he doesn't believe she can keep her mouth shut about it, which is typically the case. But the circumstances behind his newest blunder are a touch too murky for Carly to get involved. For starts, Sasha Gilmore Corbin is carrying Michael Corintho's kid, and Jason will pretend to be the child's father. Telling Carly the truth may ruin everything, betraying both Michael and Sasha's trust. But we know Carly, and she's not going to back down once she believes Jason could never have slept with Sasha. General Hospital spoilers, Carly is like a puppy with a bone. This woman, unable to let go when she feels she's onto something good, has become an expert at following her instincts and seeing things through until she knows they make sense. That may entail constant nagging and meddling in matters that are not her responsibility. This time, she suspects Jason would never have fathered Sasha's child, let alone became entangled in a whirlwind romance with someone so loved by the family, and who was previously linked with Michael. Spoilers say Sasha isn't very convincing on the other hand, while Jason may be biting his tongue and trying not to say too much since he knows Sunny and Carly know him well enough to see through him, Sasha hasn't mastered the art of remaining silent. She might go above and above to convince others that she and Jason are an item, an arrangement that was not previously agreed upon, just as she did at the PCPD. Will Carly see through her act and realize she's pushing too hard to sell this lie? General Hospital spoilers, Carly has seen this before. Carly has previously told Sunny that she believes she should contact Jason if he is only covering for Sasha, as he did when she was pregnant with Michael. Of course, Sunny believes it's best to wait things out and let Jason come to them, but they'll be stunned when he does, and admits that Sasha's kid is truly his. Is lying to Sunny and Carly his only real option now that he's backed into a position with Michael's baby mama? Jeff Kober of General Hospital speaks out following fatal exit, how he feels about Cyrus being killed off. According to General Hospital spoilers, Jeff Kober is coming out following his character's fatal exit and giving his true feelings about Cyrus' death. In a shocking twist, Jocelyn Jacks was the one who eventually erased Cyrus off the map, and now Jack Brennan is tasked with helping her cover it up. Since Cyrus has finally met his maker, fans will have to say farewell to Jeff Kober. Whether you like or dislike Cyrus, there's no doubting that Kober is a one-of-a-kind, engaging performer who contributed significantly to the show throughout his tenure. In an interview with SOD, Kober admitted that his character was only scheduled to remain 6 months at first, but he ended up staying for 5 years. After suggesting that's 4.5 years of gravy, Kober assured everyone that he was grateful. Although Kober acknowledged to jokingly giving GH executive producer Frank Valentini a hard time over his firing, there are no true resentments. I have nothing but gratitude to Frank. I did want to torture him a little bit for letting me go, so I did, but it was all in good fun, Kober said. Jeff Kober left for a nearly month-long trip to India shortly after finishing filming. As a result, Kober claimed he's still processing his departure from the show. Despite the fact that Cyrus' point of view should have been explored more from an acting aspect, Kober clearly enjoyed the opportunity to play in this filthy sandbox for so long. It's been difficult for Kober to accept that he won't be doing that anymore, but he appreciates the whole experience and the flexibility he was allowed with the role. I miss work, the people, and the process. Kober acknowledged, I gotta tell you, I love acting on soaps. Kober described this as one of the best death sequences he's ever shot and appears delighted with how things ended out. Kober thanked his supporters for their love and support. Overall, it's clear that Kober is satisfied with Cyrus' outcome and the effort he put into the job. According to General Hospital spoilers, Jocelyn will have to deal with the consequences of her actions, so stay tuned for more predictions about her future and updates on any shocking news that may emerge. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.